My name is Jennifer Lentz, and this is the PowerPoint presentation for my scholarship artifact number 2 for spring 2022 of my publication experience for my literature review from last fall. My literature review has a couple of different umbrellas of information within it, so I could really take it to a few different publication sources, but I chose the Journal of Athletic Training as my publication source for my literature review. I chose the Journal of Athletic Training because I myself am an athletic trainer, and my literature review really encompasses a lot of information that would benefit athletic trainers, especially since there are more athletic trainers being recruited through the military. The Journal of Athletic Training is a well-known and respected journal of publication within the athletic training community, so I felt that it was a really good option for being the audience for my literature review. These were some other options that I had considered for publication before I finally chose the Journal of Athletic Training. Another reason why I chose the Journal of Athletic Training is because my literature review surrounds U.S. soldiers, and the Army is actively seeking opportunities for athletic trainers to come on board and assist soldiers in meeting their physical readiness goals regarding deployments and the ACFT. So as I started looking for submission guidelines for the Journal of Athletic Training, I had actually come across two different submission guidelines. However, this is the correct one, and it says here that authors wishing to submit a literature review should contact the editorial office, which is exactly what I did. So if you dive a little deeper on the submission guidelines, there are author guidelines to take note of. And after reading through qualitative and quantitative case studies, there's a narrative literature review tab to click on that can give you more information on the guidelines for submission. However, once you click on that narrative literature review link, it takes you to a very small little section that again says, please contact the editorial office regarding the possibility of publication of your literature review. So I reached out to the editorial office and asked them what additional submission requirements or instructions did I need, and they really quickly responded and asked me if I had my title or my abstract and if I could forward that over. So because of their quick response, I really wanted to reply in a timely fashion. So I responded back with my intro and my title and all of my information. They responded back with, thanks, we'll be back in touch. And then a couple days later, I actually sent them the abstract for my lit review, and they said, this should be fine, thanks. While I was waiting for them to respond to me from my intro and my abstract, I went through the Journal of Athletic Training submission portal just to make myself more familiar with what the next steps may be so that I could be ready to respond efficiently with whatever they needed. So I had mentioned on a previous slide that there was another Journal of Athletic Training submission document that I had found, and that one mentioned that I needed to have an ORCID ID, which also required verification through their membership. I did that, and then I also obtained NATA membership status so that I could submit documents. The ORCID account and verification process was fairly simple and straightforward. It did have some other Jennifer Lentzes in there, so I had to put a little bit of differentiating information on my portfolio here so that I could stand out from those other Jennifer Lentzes. While I was waiting for a response from the Journal of Athletic Training, I did go through my literature review and make the edits as per the directions off of their author guidelines online. I was also starting to consider other journal options just in case the Journal of Athletic Training didn't work out and I couldn't submit through them. So I patiently waited 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks, I finally decided that I was going to just shoot an email over to the editorial office and see if they had any updates or timeline that they could share with me so that I kind of knew where we were going. Again, they responded very quickly, and she actually said, I was thinking of you earlier today. Let me check in with Jay Hartle, and one of us will get back in touch with you. So I was really excited. It sounded promising. So within a few hours, I had an email from Dr. Jay Hurdle, who is the editor-in-chief for the Journal of Athletic Training. However, he said that my manuscript, my literature review, would be unlikely to be published in the journal at this time. He said that they were currently seeking original research, systematic reviews, and meta-analysis for publication. So I started looking into other options for publication, and unfortunately, some of the recommendations from Jay Hurdle and that I had considered before actually come with costs. But the Clinical Journal of Sports Medicine and the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research do not have fees associated with publication. So I have decided to pursue publication now through the Clinical Journal of Sports Medicine. However, for reviews, and they don't specifically list literature reviews, but for reviews, you are to contact the editor-in-chief before consideration for submission. So I reached out to the only email address that I could actually find on their website and asked for contact information for the editor-in-chief, and hopefully I will hear back from the editorial manager soon and we can move forward with publication.